All right, so times are changing here fast as fall is upon us, and our good friend Dave Ramsey is talking about interest rates all over the place. And I understand that you got some ideas on this, and bring us up to speed.
Yep. Every week I get an email from one of our local bankers that brings us up to speed on what mortgage rates are doing, and they're going up. It's part of the Federal Reserve's tool to tone down inflation. And one of the things that Dave said was, if you can't afford a 15-year mortgage, you can't afford a house. And it stirred up some emotions. There's a lot of people that were like, well, that's unrealistic. Nobody can pay off a house in 15 years. And on the surface, that seems true. But I think part of it is more of the philosophy that if you can't afford that, great, now you get a 30-year mortgage. You're going to give the bank probably 2-3 times the amount of money in interest, and you probably don't have enough cushion. You probably don't have deep enough pockets to withstand the washer, the dryer, and the stove going out at one time. So if you can afford the 15-year mortgage, you probably can afford a house. You may not have to take the 15-year mortgage.
Very cool. Is this something that you've shared with your kids, or you share with your clients?
Yeah, kids and clients. It's if you sit down and you run a calculator, our website has some great calculators on it.
Okay.
How much will my mortgage payment be? Remember that your mortgage payment isn't just how much you're paying the bank.
Okay.
It's how much are you paying to property taxes and insurance.
Yep.
So we've got other costs there. Almost double it. Figure that whatever that mortgage calculator says, I've got to have twice that in order to really make my house payment. But if we sit down and we look at that and we really dive in to how can I take advantage of payments to reduce my overall cost? If I can make it look like I'm doing it in 15 years, I'm probably saving a third of the cost of my house. And that's all interest.
And so, being able to pay it off quickly, do the 15-year mortgage, it sounds like would actually agree with what Dave's saying.
Yeah, because it's when interest rates were really, really low.
Yep.
I think a lot of people could mentally afford a house. And when interest rates went up a couple percent, all of a sudden it seems out of reach, but the payment really hasn't changed much. The amount of interest, the final amount that you've given away has changed, but the actual monthly amount hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot. And so I agree with them that it's really more about, can you afford it? Can you withstand the ups and the downs and the true cost of owning? On the other hand, can you afford to rent? Can you afford to keep renting? Because if we own something and if we can get our mortgage done, I like the 15-year idea, especially when we're 20 years from retirement.
Yeah.
So the mortgage is finished.
Yeah.
But if we're renting, that payment keeps right on going. It never changes.
Okay.
With a mortgage, we would at least hope that the principal and interest drops down. Now we've just got our property tax and our insurance. Much more affordable in retirement, possibly than renting forever.
So it's to me, it sounds like the emotional side of it and wrapping your mind around that is as important as what the actual final end number is when it's all said and done. If somebody wants some help with that, like figuring out how to do that, talk me through that process. Does it just call you up, or do you have to sit down? How does that part of it work?
Sometimes just the idea can be run through over the phone. So using a calculator, using the idea of, again, what's the monetary cost, but then what's the overall cost? What are my goals? Does it align with that? Can we achieve both things? Can we look at, is it good for me to be in one spot, or am I moving in 3 years? That question of what's coming up in a few years, and my goal is to be in a whole different place. Buying a house right now, not probably a good idea.
Not the best idea.
The short run, great. It's nice to live in a place that's maybe my home, but am I overpaying for it? Should I have rented in that case? So we've got to kind of walk through all the different goals long term and everything.
And that's where you guys can kind of help keep it in perspective.
Yeah,
I like
it
that.
is. It's a perspective idea. It's the idea of how does this fit everything that I want, not just this thing.
Not just right now and keeping my
Yeah.
wife happy that she wants a bigger house instead of where are we going in 15 years from now. It's a different
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah,
I like
definitely.
that. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking a little time and
welcome.
sharing some insight with us. We'll see you back here next time on the iWealth podcast.
Thank you.